Hi, it's Christine Via, Creative Memories Advisor, with part 4 of the cruise layout. And this collection came with the border punch, paper, and stickers. So it's get creative time to create some embellishments because not everybody has a Cricut or a Cricut Joy. I do have a Cricut Joy, and I could make some kind of layered title or embellishments for this, but I want to use what we have in the collections. Now, to anchor them, you could punch a circle or cut a circle, and I'm just going to add some embellishments to the corners of things here. I'm going to show you some of the options. So here is Wonder of the Seas title, Wonders of the Sea, and a dolphin. And I would put these on foam squares. I'm going to move this over a little bit. And you could see on foam squares how this would work. And I'm not sure how I would handle this, but I would want the dolphin to be over the photo. So I might not have any foam square behind it yet until after the photo is in place. Or it could go up here, at which point the foam square could be up above where the photo would go, and then a foam square there. Okay, and then we have this Bon Voyage, which is a slightly different color than things. There's also a yellow little ring. I'd probably group those together. And then, let's say you see whales on your trip. The whales, summer in the North Pacific, and then they winter in the South Pacific. So you could put a whale there. You could include having a whale of a good time, or just the whale. And then there's cruising together. I think this would be a really nice one for right here. And maybe you could, I really do like this one, but that's only if you're seeing dolphins on your trip. But I like this one. It's very generic, and maybe it's a picture of you. Maybe you're on an anniversary trip, and you would put the foam squares on the outside part of it and not in this corner, and then use the anti-stick powder to apply. And I think that's actually what I'm going to do on this one. Let's get my foam squares. And we will use we'll use some smaller ones on here. And so I am avoiding that one area. And we'll get some anti-stick. I hope you were able to grab some of this when it was 50% off. I stocked up. Make sure that it's loose enough. That way, brush this off, get a little excess off of there. And so I always apply my foam squares onto the sticker before I use anti-stick powder, just to make sure I have good adhesion on the sticker and that I don't powder up what I need to have not powdered. Oh, sure. I did that wrong. Alrighty, let's get you off of here. You were supposed to be down here. Alright. So I want to keep that corner free. All right. So, do we want to put a little whale up there? We'll pretend that I do. And when I went on my Alaska cruise, we went out whale watching, and it was relatively early in the season. And goodness gracious, if we did not hit the jackpot. There was a mother humpback whale teaching her baby, which I hesitate to use the word baby because they're giant sized, feeding and breaching. And I think we spent a good half hour watching that, trying to capture pictures. This was before the days of decent cell phone cameras, so my digital camera, that whole trip is a funny walking disaster of photography. All right, so we're going to let the photo speak on this page. And I think I'm going to put these back so I can use this on another page. Now, let's pretend I was doing, it was an Antarctic cruise, which I have friends that have done that. I would choose this ice floe over here, or maybe you were on a Scandinavian cruise where you happen to see icebergs and ice floe. And I would use that. And the iceberg, I would put maybe over in this corner, or you can use it on a different page. Now what I did for this is there's an anchor icon that is on the stickers and a cloud icon, and this one was a lighter blue. And then on the title page, there was the cruising together. And that where it was my choices for this. And I want to do some, I'm going to move this whole thing out of the way. I want to do some titles, some write-on stickers. I got to put these back first, though, because I did not put anti-stick on here. I just wanted to show you some of the options of combining. This would be good if you went on a whale watching tour. And I'm going to carefully remove that. And there's actually 2 dolphins on here. There's also in the U.S., there's the Columbia River Gorge cruise. They would probably want to use some of the salmon for that. We're going to not need that or this. Oops, so we have that. We are going to need the write-on stickers. Every time I think I have everything prepared, I don't. And I've done this on camera before, but I haven't really described how I have done it. And I think I want to use the regular size for that photo. And I'm going to peel off this partial one and a whole one. And I also use these to cover up the multitude of mistakes I make journaling. It's like my pastime. So I am going to use the cornflower blue first. And there's a little bit of residue on here, and I'm just going to cover this. And these do peel off of this craft mat. so they do hold in place nicely for when you're doing this. And if you remember from the inking video, it is applying ink, even though I have just a little bit of residue on here. I can see the color change here, and it's when I place it on white that you'll really notice it. But I'm just going to keep going in circles until I think it's exhausted the viable residue on the brush. And then I'm going to pull up this, and I'm going to remove it. And you can see that there is a faint blue there. I think that I would like a little bit more. So I hope wherever you're watching from that you're safe and warm or cool, depending on what's going on, and you're dry. One of the comments that I get often is some people are just coming back to scrapbooking, and I want to say welcome back. I went through the same thing for a period of time after I moved to Georgia. I lost both parents. I lost my mother within 4 months of moving down here and moving, and those are both two really big things. And so I started to deal with a little bit of depression, but it took me 3 years to figure out why I got so melancholy at Thanksgiving. And I'm pretty aware about things, and my mother died she was diagnosed Thanksgiving and died 2 weeks later. And so you think I would have put 2 and 2 together, but I didn't. And I was trying to start a business, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell this to you. Every time I scheduled an event at my home, we had tornadoes, severe thunderstorm warnings where you didn't want to be out driving. We even had snow one time here in Georgia when I had something scheduled, and I just threw my hands up in the air, and it's like, I give up, I give in. And then COVID happened, and that's when my business kicked off. So down here, so who knows? I think people wanted to connect. So you can see now that there is a bit of a blue. See, there's just enough blue to highlight this. And I want it to come straight out. And I'm not really picky about how even it is on the end. I want this to be kind of organic. I'm going to take a little bit of that off. I do them different lengths. I think I might end up putting some on the other side as well. This would be, you know, first impressions. Is this your first cruise? What you like? I think 3 is a nice number. And then we'll slip this right back in. Anyway, so I started more avidly scrapbooking because I set up in this room. When you have to constantly pack up your stuff, it's harder to stay committed to doing it because it's so much work getting set up in your own home. And I just started scrapbooking like gangbusters. I'm going to turn this upside down because I am that left-handed that I need to do it this way. Anyway, it has brought me so much joy, and it has helped me. Plus, I love people, and I love connecting with people, and I think I need a little bit more. I'm going to take off a little bit of this. There we go. What's interesting to me is this coming up with a little bit of a light aqua flavor. And the pens will write just fine on this. And the other option is you could draw lines You could do a journaling box. I just like these because I write on them generally before I put them on the page, but I know that I can pull them up and read to them. There we go. The one thing I'm sorry I didn't avail myself of was right after the cruise ship started cruising after 2020. There was ridiculously cheap cruises, and I'm sorry I did not avail myself of that. I was just shocked. Okay, actually I went a little low on that one, but then we can put a sticker on it. There's always a reason to embellish. And then I also have these beautiful things that I don't know where I'm going to use them, but let's pull up the icons. What do we want to do here? We could use that, but I'm thinking I'm going to use a foam square. And in this instance, there's very little space around the foam square, so I am not going to worry about putting anti-stick powder on it. You could if you wanted to. There we go. That fills that space. So we are going to slide this in. And part 5. This is part 4. I will show how I incorporate the memorabilia / ephemera that happens on a cruise. I bring a Ziploc baggie with me so that I can stash everything in there and it stays contained. Otherwise, it's all over the place. Because I've done the all over the place too. I'm going to take this cutting mat out. There we go. And then on the last part, I'm also going to show the 2 different ways that this can go on a pocket page or on a regular page. There we go. That's what it looks like when it's open. So let's close it. It's getting there. If you do this page, I would love to have you post your versions of this. I won't be making a title because I don't have a need for a title, and I suspect very much that one of my customers will want to buy this off of me. But towards the end, you could put some memorabilia on here, your title across here. And then we're going to use some tabs to create a way to open this easily. And then there we go. Look for part 5 coming soon.